In the headlines, Supreme Court dismisses suit to compel PDP to zone presidency to Southeast. 10 dead in Gombe cholera outbreak. President Buhari says Nigeria can be a major supply chain partner to global economies like the US. And on the foreign scene, US aircraft carrier arrives in South Korea as warning to North. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The Supreme Court has struck out a suit instituted against the People's Democratic Party, PDP, seeking to enforce the zoning and rotary policy in the 2023 presidential election. In a unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Adamu Jauro on Friday, the court struck out the suit on the grounds of lack of jurisdiction to entertain it. A presidential aspirant of the PDP and former Deputy Speaker of Abia State House of Assembly, Cosmos Ndukwe, had instituted the suit against his party, praying for an order of the court to compel it to uphold the zoning and rotatory policy of the party. Specifically, the presidential aspirant sought for an order of the court to compel PDP to zone the nomination of his presidential candidate to the southeast geopolitical zone of the country. However, Justice Jauro dismissed the suit on the grounds that the nomination of candidates for election was an internal affair of political parties. Meanwhile, former Minister of Youth and Sports Solomon Dalung has stormed the Chief Magistrate Court 4 in Yola, Adamawa State, to seek the justice for Lawan Uba, who was remanded for over 40 days. Lawan Uba, an Adamawa-based politician, has been in detention for allegedly insulting Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri. Salis Lawan has the report. All right, we'll bring you that report subsequently. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has declared that he will not leave the People's Democratic Party for anyone, no matter what happens. He says he is interested in maintaining party prudence and will remain in the party to fight for the enthronement of unity, inclusiveness and peace in the party. Governor Wike stated this at the River State PDP stakeholders meeting at Government House, Port Harcourt. He insists that the constitution of the party clearly explains how elective and party offices are to be occupied. Governor Wike wondered why the former PDP Board of Trustees chairman will be pressured to resign, and the PDP national chairman, Senator Iyorchia Ayu, is excusing himself from the same. The governor urged party members to be steadfast because God is on their side, and since they have not known defeat, PDP cannot be defeated in 2023 general elections in River State.
When we tell Nigerians the truth, it is for Nigerians to take a decision of whatever they want to do. Because in this part of our country, lies can become the truth. When you allow people to continue to lie, and you have refused to state your own part of the story, those lies will turn to be the true story. It is not about Wike. It's not about Wike. We have finished presidential primaries. It's over. There's nothing anybody can do about it. We have finished about the presidential candidate. It is over. There's nothing anybody can do about it. But something is important for the unity of this country, for the inclusivity of everybody. One thing is very, very key. And people are trying to, oh, it's not possible. Oh, this and this. Oh, why is Wike? It has to do with you. It has to do with your future. When you're not there, when decisions are being made, there's nothing you can do about it. And so from there, you must have to say, look, there's imbalance. Let's do it the way we have always done it. That is called everybody's accent.
And to health matters now, where the outbreak of cholera in some parts of Gombe State has led to the death of 10 people. The State Ministry of Health, who confirmed the outbreak, said it affected 5 local government areas of the state with over 200 confirmed cases. The Executive Secretary of the State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Abdurrahman Shaibu, said the state government has activated an immediate response plan across 11 local government areas of the state. He said the action in all the local government areas became necessary for the prevention and management of the cholera outbreak in the state. Residents of New Market in Jos North local government area of Plateau State have accused the police officers attached to the C Division of killing a 16-year-old boy, Usman Bala, and injuring 2 others in the area. Ado Musa gathered that the remaining victims who were shot in their legs are currently receiving treatment at Bingham Hospital in Jos.
According to the resident, the incident occurred on Wednesday evening after a police officer suddenly opened fire at some people who were plying around the area. Naziru Isa Nasali witnessed the incident. The police often come from C Division to station at New Market Junction, but in the last 5 days, youth in the area have complained about how they come to molest tricycle riders and impound their tricycles. So, when they come and seize a tricycle, the youth started shouting at them to stop, and before you know it, the police opened fire at people. They shot one in the stomach and 2 others in the leg. The father of the deceased, Muhammad Bala, while explaining how he received the news of the killing, described the incident as an unfortunate and called on the police authority to prosecute the officers. On Wednesday, after we observed the last prayer of the day, I was called that I should come to Bingham Hospital, and I asked why. They said I should just come. On getting there, I was told that my child was shot dead by the police. No security personnel has so far come to my house to talk about the incident. The police commissioner should wade into the matter and unravel the circumstances behind the killing. My son was innocent. He is a leather worker, and he went to a shop around the area to buy water gum to make some bags. The spokesperson of the State Police Command, Alabo Alfred, while confirming the incident, denied that the police went to the area to seize any tricycle, adding that, based on the recent killing of 2 market security guards in Jos, the police went to secure the area before they were attacked by some. The ward head of Abba Neshehu, Nasiru Kawu, called on residents of the area to remain calm, as all necessary action will be taken to ensure justice for all parties. We are not happy with what has happened. It is indeed worrisome. I made the necessary contact to calm the situation. We are working to ensure that the matter does not escalate, and in doing so, we will not take law into our hands. The resident called on the State Police Commissioner, Bartholomew Onyeka, to take action against the officers who shot the victims, and also urged all stakeholders, including the state government, to investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And residents of Jigawa State say the flood they witnessed in the state is the worst they have seen in recent time. The residents spoke to Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibril that the flood is submerging many farm communities, destroying crops and houses, raising fear of food shortages.
For 2 long weeks, flood water have covered large part of Jigawa State. Farmland and damaged roads have become temporary fishing grounds. Like now, I'm fishing here. If God help me to get enough, I will go and sell. If I couldn't get so much, then I'll just take it home for my family to eat. With their crops rotting underwater, their homes and schools submerged, many affected farming communities are now taking refuge in the nearby government facilities. Authorities say hundreds and thousands of them have seen this year's harvest wiped out.
Then the rainfall started, and as a result of the rainfall, there was a heavy rainfall about 3 days in Jigawa State. That rainfall affected all the local governments because the rainfall was there everywhere in the 27 local governments we have. So as a result of that rainfall, so many houses and so many people were killed.
In our local government area alone, authorities say thousands of farmlands have been washed away and that over 400,000 people are affected by the flood disaster.
Definitely there is going to be a food shortage because, as I am telling you, 60% of the food that we are getting in this entire northern Nigeria is from this Hadija axis. Now the farmlands have been washed away, therefore we could not get anything.
For now, things are getting more complicated. Hundreds of villages are being submerged, farmlands washed away, and farmers say they fear the worst.
Houses are gone, farmlands are gone. What do we eat? You can see that we don't have homes, we don't have, our farms have been washed away, so what do? There is no food for us to eat. If the irrigation farming comes, we don't have money to buy the fuel for the irrigation. What do? One bag of maize is 20,000 naira. One bag of fertilizer is 25,000 naira. What do you think we should do?
While residents continue to flee for safety, the flood waters continue to take over the entire Hadejia Emirates. There are growing concerns that things could get worse in the next coming days. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Jigawa.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still ahead on the news. How clock repairing is fading out in Nigeria. Details of this and more after the break. You stay with us.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's take a look at our top stories. Supreme Court dismisses suit to compel PDP to zone presidency to Southeast. And 10 dead in Gombe cholera outbreak. Moving on to more news now. Some motorists in Lagos have urged the state government to give proper orientation to its personnel saddled with the task of traffic regulation across the state and create more public awareness regarding traffic management and control. Abbas Alibi now reports.
Road traffic regulators across the country are supposed to make enforcement of traffic rules more effective. Some motorists in Lagos says that the traffic regulators are more focused on generating revenue through multiple fines on infractions, many of which motorists are not aware of.
The essence of traffic is to control human behaviors, create free flow of movement of vehicles. But what they are doing, they are even add more injury to the, more suffering to the injury. They even cause more traffic. You see, and causing more traffic is, you are not even preventing safety. You are abusing the security and the safety of the road users, because a situation whereby a law enforcement is dragging just because a simple correction that they should do.
Even last month, I paid 10,000 naira. Why I pass Ikeja along? No, now only Okada with the band. Say make Okada no apply express. But our own, nobody abandoned us. So almost throughout last week, there's very serious issue for that place. But sometimes there's serious traffic. You need to concentrate on the traffic. They're on target. Immediately you get a little bit mistake, they are going to take you. There's nothing like say whether maybe you don't know or you know. You don't hold it.
People will now block us on the road that we are following express. Like about 3 months ago, they caught about 4 tricycle and they collected 40,000 naira from each tricycle, which has no account.
But Lagos state government has justified its recent action of 134 impounded vehicle owned by traffic violators in the state. The action attracted mixed reactions from Nigerians, with some describing it as harsh. However, the Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of the state, Moyosore Onigbanjo, insisted that the action followed due process.
When you are wrong, you need to be guided, you need to be informed, you need to be corrected. But all what they're after, they want even you to make that mistake so that they can make more money from you. And it's an abuse. It is obvious now is that it's either to generate more money to the government or more money for their pockets.
With what they are doing now, they are not for us at all. They are just there for their own pockets. For what they are doing presently, they are not for the safety of the members of the community. If they can take them away from the road and at least reorganize another body that will take care of the road for the road safety, I think that one will be better. They should give them orientation. They should know why they are there. Since they don't know why they are there, they are just there for business, making money to their pocket, frustrating people. If they see Marwa, they catch. If they see Korokwe, they catch. Unnecessarily.
Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Leg.
And now to our previous report from Yola, Adamawa State, where the former Minister of Youth and Sports, Solomon Dalung, has stormed the Chief Magistrate Court 4 to seek justice for Lawan Uba, who was remanded for over 40 days. Lawan Uba, an Adamawa-based politician, has been in detention for allegedly insulting Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri. Here's Salis Lawan with the report.
The immediate past minister noted that as a Nigerian citizen who always stands for justice, he cannot afford to allow a fellow citizen to be denied justice, saying that Lawan ought not to have been in prison because the offense is bailable in nature. He challenged Adamawa State Judiciary to rise up and ensure that the justice delivery system is not in any way compromised or allowed to be politicized, and vowed to ensure justice for the detained politician.
I am satisfied that justice will be done ultimately based on the argument I have listened and the presentation made before the church. I have confidence in the judiciary in Nigeria. They remain the bastion of the common man.
A. Lawan Uba was arraigned before the Chief Magistrate Court, presided by Magistrate Aminu Abdul Qadir Maiha, for defamation of character and several other offences which he denied committing. Lead counsel to the defendant, Robert Mosif Ave, argued that the comments made by his client were not defamatory.
We are submitting that from the evidence led by the prosecution, that is the state, the Commissioner of Police, no prima facie case has been made against the defendant to warrant the court calling on him to open a defense. In a situation like this, if the court is calling on the defendant to open a defense where there is no evidence which disclose any case against him, it's akin to asking the defendant to prove his innocence, which is contrary to the Constitution. My client should be patient, and the public should also be patient. We wait for the outcome of the ruling, and then from there, we'll advise them on the next step.
However, the prosecution counsel declined to comment, saying he needed clearance from his superior before speaking to the press. A. Lawan Uba has been in detention after he was accused of sharing videos in which he claimed Governor Fintiri betrayed those who helped him win the 2019 election. Meanwhile, the State Magistrate Court 4 has adjourned till Monday, 26 September 2022 for ruling on no case submission filed by counsel to the defendant, A. Lawan Uba. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
Watch repairers, also known as horologists, are facing extinction, especially with the advances being made in the production of mobile phones. Now, advances in technology mean less people are using wristwatches and clocks, which may spell doom for the craft of horology. Jimmy Azandi spoke to some repairers in Makudi who lament the situation.
The watch repairers are of the view that the invention of mobile phone was not in their best interest. Rather than upgrade, some have abandoned the trade while others have diversified to be able to pay bills.
I've been in the business for quite some time now. And however, the way the thing is now, it's not like before in terms of patronage and customership. Because unlike before when they breaks, you know that before 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, thereabout, you know how much you are supposed to have in your pocket. But now, at times you use a whole year, whole month, you cannot even recover anything. Unlike before, we don't used to have handsets, all these gadgets, we don't use them. But now, due to all those things now, the patronage of wristwatch repair has gone drastically down. As a result of that, we have to diversify.
Some of the repairers have requested that timepieces be removed from the phones to make way for their jobs.
So why would they get to work before? None the thing, they like that. Because handset now, plenty. Many of people wearing you wear wristwatch, none they know they wear that. And like before you go see one person with a 5 watch, 4 watch, 3 watch. But now, they like it before.
The wristwatch business is moving before. Moving fasterly. The volume of the wristwatch business is way increased before. But right now, I don't know. It is where assets come out. People know normally. I'm telling them I'm repairing, both the two. But this is where assets come out. It doesn't move like before. I don't know the reason whether the company manufacturer can able to remove the time for wristwatch.
On their part, residents of Makurdi gave divergent views on wristwatches. Some feel the fashion is outdated, while others say the wristwatches serve a unique function.
So the reason why I don't have a wristwatch is because these days wristwatches have become more of a fashion item. Because you have your phone, you can always take a glance at it and know exactly what time it is. Phones have become everything. It's your planner, it's your calendar, you don't need to hang a calendar in your office anymore. Just like you don't necessarily need a wall clock or a wristwatch.
The watch is my fashion that I used to tie always. Even if this one spoiled today, in the next 3 hours, I'll still look for a wristwatch because it has cost on my blood. At times, the phone may shut up, the battery may go down, and you still have your wristwatch at your hand. You don't need of asking your colleagues what says the time before you. There are some phones, if they are not set by the network, it is not all the place that you can, when the battery has got shut down before you set the watch of the phone, it will be difficult. But if you are with the wristwatch, you can know the time throughout.
Once upon a time, wristwatches were essential to fashion, but that was before the mobile phone era. At the moment, it appears most people have stopped using them and the repairers are suddenly going into oblivion.
Now, despite it being President Buhari's last appearance at the United Nations General Assembly, his support is still being sought, as demonstrated by the bilateral meetings he has been involved in on the sidelines of the international event. 2 of such meetings were the President of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, and Mahamadou Issoufou, former President of Niger Republic and Special Envoy of the UN and African Union on joint strategic assessment and governance situation in the Sahel. Kende Amadou reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari's speech on the floor of the United Nations General Assembly still reflects that some of the positions adopted by his administration from the onset have not changed. One of such positions is his support for the two-state solution to the crisis between Israel and Palestine, which he believes can be aided by a closer partnership between African countries and their Arab partners. At a bilateral meeting with the President of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, in New York, President Buhari said the actualization of the UN resolution would require a platform to think creatively on how to engage the rest of the world on the matter. The Palestinian president, who appreciated his Nigerian counterpart for being a consistent supporter of the Palestinian cause, also solicited Buhari's support by rallying other African countries to their side. President Abbas said Palestinians had decided to pursue a peaceful path towards resolving the matter by relying on nations like Nigeria to help in attaining the two-state solution. President Buhari also met with Mahamadou Issoufou, Former President of Niger Republic and Special Envoy of the UN and African Union on Joint Strategic Assessment and Governance Situation in the Sahel, President Buhari assured the Special Envoy of the support of Nigeria in the discharge of his assignment, which will focus on seeking political and economic solutions to issues confronting countries in the Sahel. The former Nigerian leader had informed President Buhari that Nigeria's support was needed to raise funds for the assignment. Reporting the president at Onga, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
And now for a look at the foreign scene, where the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan has arrived in South Korea ahead of joint military exercises that are seen as a show of strength amid growing North Korean threats. The Ronald Reagan and ships from his accompanying strike force docked at a naval base in the southern port city of Busan on Friday. The arrival marks the most significant deployment yet by Washington under a new push to have more U.S. nuclear-capable strategic assets operate in the region to deter North Korea. Joint military drills in the coming days will be the first involving a U.S. aircraft carrier in the region since 2017, when the U.S. sent 3 aircraft carriers, including the Reagan, for naval drills with South Korea in response to North Korean nuclear and missile tests at that time. North Korea denounced previous U.S. military deployments and joint drills as rehearsals for war and proof of hostile policies by Washington and Seoul. And in sports, Roger Federer will play the final match of his career, partnering great Spanish rival Rafael Nadal at the Laver Cup on Friday night at London's O2 Arena. Team Europe captain Bjorn Borg granted his wish to compete alongside his oldest and greatest rival after the 20-time Grand Slam champion said playing with Nadal will be the most beautiful thing. Federer and Nadal, a 22 major winner, will face Francis Tiafoe and Jack Sock of Team World. Earlier, Andy Murray, making his debut at the Ryder Cup-style event, will take on Australia's Alex de Minaur. Federer announced last week that he will bring his professional tennis career to a close after the Laver Cup. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.